74%. This demonstrates the percentage of people who have felt so stressed they have been overwhelmed or unable to cope, according to the Mental Health Foundation. Although this number does seem radical, it portrays an immense societal chokehold that stress holds in our humanity, influencing how we live our daily lives and damaging our rational mind. Hello, my name is Luis Ferraro, and I'll be presenting how our brain becomes plagued by high levels of stress, impacting our cognitive mind. This prompts to my research question, which is how does the brain reward system influence decision making under conditions of stress? Leading to my argument that the brain is negatively impacted by high levels of stress, damaging the brain's reward system, affecting how we deal with decision making situations. The core factors and effects of stress can be analyzed with 3 key points. As one is, the youth is one of the most sensible targets as the brain is still developing and adapting to the stresses of adulthood, stating that 45% of teenagers are stressed on a daily basis. Acute stress plays also a major role in being one of the main factors impacting our decision making, as it is directly connected to our rewarding system in our brain, leading us to choose the option that relieves stress the fastest rather than the healthiest rational option. Lastly, the factor-based stress, as there are multiple other environmental and biological factors that explain how we respond to stress, dealing with our home life, gender, work environment, and much more. This is an illustration here of how our stress response and development of holistic load demonstrates how when the brain perceives an experience as stressful, a psychological and behavioral response are initiated, leading to allostasis and adaptation. Over time, holistic load can accumulate, and overexposure to meters of neuron indoctrination and immune stress can have adverse effects on various organ systems, leading to many health concerns. As we can see here, the brain rationalizes either environmental stress, major life events, and trauma abuse into behavioral responses such as fight or flight, smoking, and drinking, which all of that end up building into the holistic load, causing people to break. Also, decision-making under stress is also affected by our brain's biology. As shown in these graphs conducted by the study of risk and reward by Mary Mather, the study demonstrates how differently men and women assess decision-making under stress, as women tend to satisfy with the option of less risk, taking less of a reward, while the cortisol in the male brain, as seen over here, tends to be positive when risking higher odds, with that sometimes giving more successful results. As you can see in graph 2, males react impulsively to seek high gratification when faced under stress. This quote by Franklin D. Roosevelt was taken from his inaugural address, which was provided by College Board, as it demonstrates how one can handle such immense stress. As it states, "So first of all, let me assert my firm belief that the only thing we have to fear is fear itself, nameless, unreasoning, unjustified terror which paralyzes needed efforts to convert retreat into advance." This was spoken in front of millions of desperate Americans waiting for a response to the economic depression. A position like his isn't made for everyone, as it takes incredible high emotional intelligence to deal with the immense responsibility. Many would have crumbled at these standards needed. This is why we must create a society that is emotionally intelligent, that can withstand the effects of life by practicing self-control and learning how to deal with our emotions through therapy and other healthy coping mechanisms. We can become more mentally prepared for situations like this and that cause high levels of stress. This graph illustrates as different groups react to stress in acute levels. Groups react differently, groups with high levels of stress react differently and tend to make less rational decisions, which also affects decision-making responses. As you can see, low-level depressed groups tend to take more time and tend to take less time and make more controllable decisions and react less impulsively when faced acute levels of stress. This research also gave me the results that approximately 35% of American children experience stress-related health problems. According to many psychologists, pediatricians, and healthcare providers, experiencing stress in children plays a major role in increasing mental and societal problems. This leads to the results of this experiment, as high levels of childhood stress displayed significant alteration in fundamental aspects of rewarding process compared with those with lower levels of childhood stress. Specifically, those with very high levels of early life stress were much slower to make decisions, yet despite spending more time on their choices, those individuals ended up making poor decisions. This leads to many of the unhealthy coping mechanisms that teens and many unemotionally healthy people tend to rely on, as they tend to lean on this when pressured by stress. Isolation and avoidance avoidance from responsibilities are minor effects, as substance abuse and self-harm are prominent as a form of escaping reality. Responsibilities also may become aggravated and making mistakes you might regret. A mix of all of these together can turn into a destructive person and damaging your life. In conclusion, stress can significantly influence the brain's reward system, leading to a preference for immediate gratification and diminishing the capacity to evaluate long-term consequences. This bias can contribute to a range of suboptimal decisions, highlighting the importance of stress management strategies for promoting rational and well-being oriented choices. Stress has our society in a chokehold, as we as society must learn to articulate our decisions along with becoming more self-aware of the irrational mind we all possess. Understanding this dynamic is crucial for developing effective stress management strategies that promote healthy and balanced choices. Thank you, and this is my works cited page. Do you have any questions?
Yep, 2 questions. Say there, because you'll be off the camera. All right, first question. How did your research question kind of evolve as you worked your way through this whole process?
As I began my research, I was first prompted to use a positive argument, as I saw that in some situations, high levels of stress can also promote you to become a better person and have you become more responsible for what you have to do. But I ultimately ended up going negatively because not everybody has that high intelligence, emotional intelligence.
All right, what advice would you have for people that want to look at stress more in the future?
I believe that it's something that we still must conduct a lot of research on, as stress is a big reason why we are in the place we are in, as we tend to procrastinate and not be our rational self most of the time.